Welcome back to Leeds Lately. I'm exhausted after that. I really am. Look, Leeds have just won. Make sure you hit that big red button down below. New streaming setup, by the way. So if you aren't part of the streams usually and you want to be, come and join us. We had a fantastic stream tonight. And before we actually start, I just want to say shout out to all of you who were there, especially all the people with the super chats and the memberships and the gifted subs and all that sort of thing. You guys are amazing, and thank you for your continued support on the channel. I don't actually say that enough, but thank you everybody for your continued support. Hair's a bit crazy. But we move because we've just beaten Sheffield United 3-1. 1-0 down in the first half, and you're just thinking, oh no, is this one of these games? Is it one of these games? And their goal was really poor from Meslier, but we'll forgive him given the scoreline. If you didn't watch the game, obviously at some point you'll see the highlights, but my thoughts on this kind of first half was that Sheffield United started it much better. They took the game to us. They really kind of stopped us being able to play our game as well. I said in my preview how they would try and stop us playing out from the back too much, and we weren't really able to play through the lines into the midfield because they did employ that mid-block, which meant that we weren't then able to feed the ball to the front man in Joel Peru, and he wasn't able to get involved in the game too much in that first half. And I thought Meslier did flap at a few crosses, and we got lucky before then. Gruev headed one off the line, which was unbelievable. Great from him to be able to do that as well. And we kind of we were due a conceded goal at that point because I just felt like we were really, really riding our luck. Leeds obviously conceded a goal, and the ball got whipped into the box. Really good header by Callum O'Hare. Meslier makes an unbelievable save to tip it onto the crossbar. Bounces down out towards the left-hand side. Tyrese Campbell heads it. It hits the post. It's going to go across the goal line and not go in, and Mellier's kind of falling backwards and slaps it into his own net. Really poor. Dan James should have done more to stop the cross. I think Strauch was actually behind Meslier, so he couldn't do anything to help the situation either. So the positioning for everybody was a bit at 6s and 7s at that point anyway. So that was the goal we conceded. But I did feel after that goal, we had a period of sustained possession where we grew into the game more and more and more. And it started to be like, okay, there's definitely chances opening up here, namely down the left-hand side, because I think down the left-hand side was where they had Clark, and that was where Solomon and Firpo were running right. Firpo went on to get man of the match for Sky. That was where we kind of had that joy in the first half. And I think it was because Jessurun Raksaki wasn't tracking back and helping out Clark, which meant that we had a 2-on-1 situation down that side, whereas the other side, you had Ben Brereton Diaz actually tracking back and helping out Harrison Burrows, who probably a better fullback as well, in terms of defensively and strength-wise than Clark as well. And they were a bit stronger down that side, so it meant we had more joy down there. We had some chances, we didn't quite take them. They then had a bit of a sustained period of possession, but we went in at 1-0 down, which I thought we just need to get in at 1-0 down, solidify and just build on that. And we did that, really. They did have a bit of a period towards the start of the second half, but I thought once we got into the game after that, we really started to dominate and push for that goal. And it's always going to happen when you're 1-0 up against the league leaders, like Sheffield United were. You are going to start to back off a little bit and start to not particularly go forward as much anymore, where they did have a few chances, but they started to back off more and more, and that allowed Leeds a little bit more of a license to go forward without fear of retribution almost. And so the equaliser was a cross into the box from Dan James, who gets himself another assist. Firpo ran across his man into the kind of penalties, halfway between the penalty spot and the 6-yard box, and he goes and heads it into the top corner. Great header from Firpo. Unbelievable performance from him. And like I said, he did get man of the match. Then our second goal was the Tanaka one, whipped in from a corner, headed towards goal, flicked towards Tanaka. Tanaka, that goal really just summed up his calmness and his composure, because it bounced to him at the back post in a really tight angle, and instead of just panicking and going for it, he just went like that and just flicked it, and it just curled right into the top corner on the opposite side of the goal. So it was an unbelievable header from him to just direct it that accurately. And then, of course, a couple of minutes later, Dan James plays the ball into Piru, gets himself another assist, and Piru blasts it in from the edge of the box with barely recovered from the last goal. Piru blasts it in from the edge of the box, but the game was becoming more stretched down that side. Dan James allowed more space to cut inside. Piru found himself in the half space because he dropped into the number 10 role rather than being the striker, which allowed him more space in behind to shoot from distance, and he just banged it right in the top corner. Potentially the keeper could have done better than that, but their keeper had been good throughout this game. He'd made some good saves against Piru, really good save against the one that Nonto curled from the edge of the box. So he was having a good game, the goalkeeper. But the fact that Piru just banged it in from the edge of the box, I think the power took it past the goalkeeper. 3-1, and I said during my stream, this is kind of like, for me, like 1 foot in the door for promotion, beating Sheffield United like this, because we're now 5 points clear of Sheffield United. We're now 7 points clear of Burnley, and we're now 13 points clear of Sunderland. We've all said this season, it doesn't matter if we are second or first, but as long as us and one other team start to run away with it, hopefully that's us. And well, it doesn't, I don't care who else it is, but hopefully it allows us to break that gap between whoever it is. It looking like it'll be us and Sheffield United, because I was impressed with them. They're one of the only teams who've took the game to Leeds and gone, do you know what, we can kind of match you. And they did for a time, but when they started to back off, it was Leeds were always going to you just felt we had the momentum. I don't know if I was already in a fantastic mood anyway because of the stream and like the amazing support, which I've already mentioned. I don't know if it was because of that, but yeah, look, it was unbelievable. And we went on to win the game 3-1, obviously. Firpo gets himself man of the match. I think, look, Melia had a shaky performance in the first half, but he definitely grew into the game. I think he got better and better in that second half. Bogle was somebody who, he got booed every time he got the ball, but I don't think he was bad or particularly amazing, Bogle. I think he was decent in this game. Firpo was, again, really good. He had so much time and space down that left-hand side because of the 2-on-1 situations and the overlaps with Solomon, who also had a really good game, but we'll come to that. Then when you look at the midfield, I think the decision to bring on Rothwell again for Gruev made a massive difference, because Gruev was having one of his, he wasn't bad, but he was having one of his not as good performances. And then, of course, when Rothwell came on, he drives forward a lot more and supports in those attacking phases. Tanaka, again, scored a goal, was very tidy in general, didn't deserve the yellow card that he did get, and I just thought Tanaka, again, was really, really good. In terms of our attacking players, again, Dan James got himself 2 assists. I think 2 assists. Yeah, Firpo's one and Piru's one. Yeah, so Dan James gets himself 2 assists. Really good from him. Again, learning to cut inside on his left foot, cross the ball in. Really good from him. Then you've got Aronson was a bit quiet. I thought Piru was a bit quiet as well, along with Aronson, but Piru definitely started to shine once he dropped into the 10, so he got better and better as the game went on, as he dropped into the number 10. Aronson I didn't think was fantastic. He didn't really have that much of a chance to get involved in the game, though, because like I said, Sheffield United were employing a decent mid-block, but Solomon had a lot of joy down that left-hand side. It was really good going past players, cutting inside, shooting, crossing. He had a good game. And then Mateo Joseph, there's a couple of chances where the one where he blazed it over the bar in the box, you just want him to take a breath, put it in the net, but he's still learning to do that. But all in all, look, you can't ask for much better than that, can you? 2 games in a row against second and fourth, and we've come from behind to win them both and scored 5 goals in the process. So, look, it's unbelievable. I'm going to leave you on that note. It's unbelievable. Thank you so much again for your continued support on the channel, especially those of you who are in that live stream. If you want to join that community, come and join it. We're live every single game for those games. But look, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Dan James, most goals and assists in the Championship, 7 goals, 6 assists. And Joel Peru is up there as well with, I think he's got 15 goals now and a couple of assists as well. So look, unbelievable. Thanks so much for watching Leeds Lately, and I'll see you in the next one, which will be a video coming out on Wednesday at 12 p.m. So don't miss it. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching Leeds Lately, and I'll see you in the next one. Get in.